Hello, good afternoon everyone. Thank you for coming to join me today. I've just completed my botanical journals and a few people had asked if I could show how I made the envelope flip that I did at the front. So I'm going to have a go at making another one. Let me just put that out of the way. I'm moving on now. I've done the botanical journals and I'm going to be doing bug journals. So I've got a book that I'm going to use for those. I've been collecting some papers that I've got. I've got Andrea's somewhere. I've got Andrea's bug kit. So I've printed these off. These are just on copy paper because I always like to print the kit off that I'm going to use, and I use this for, you know, envelopes and tucks and things like that to decorate. And I've also got Andrea's gel print papers because they remind me of bugs, so that's what I'm going to use those as well. And I've got a couple of traces. I think it's nature snippets, but it's got some bugs on, so I might use a bit of that as well. So in the journals that I'd made in the botanical journal, the flip, sorry, let me just move from camera, it's right under my nose. The flip I made from an envelope, and on those I just used a plain white envelope, window envelope. It doesn't have to have a window in it if you don't want to. But for this journal I want it to be a bit more grungy. So I'd got these envelopes that I've tea dyed, and I've laid one of the plastic mats on it, so it's got that impression on it. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to start by, I don't really know where I'm going to go with this, but I haven't really thought about what I want to do other than I'd show you how I made it. So I'm gonna cut this envelope down because this is going to be the size of my pages when I do the journal, which is what? Oh, I didn't even ask how you were all doing, did I? Hope you are all okay. The pages are 8 1/4. I should know that, shouldn't I? So I want this to be less than 8 1/4. So I'm going to do it fractionally less. Cut that little bit off. And I always save these coffee dyed bits because you just never know when you're going to need a little bit of coffee dyed paper with a little bit of pattern on. Let me just check and see what I've got that size height wise. Yeah, so that'll fit nicely on a page. Look, it's a little bit short top and bottom, so that's fine. I don't want to cover all of this up, so I won't. But what I want to do is I want to start by putting something on the inside there. Something. And I might use a piece of this, of Andrea's papers. Now that I've cut that, it's a little bit easier. I don't need that bit there. I just want to put something that's going to go to the back of that page. It's always a fiddle getting something in there, isn't it? So I don't need it to be any bigger than that. Wider than that, I mean. You don't have to cover the window, the back of the window, if you don't want to. Depends if you like the design that's on your window envelope. When I put it on the page, it will be like that. So that window envelope will be there. You can do it the opposite way round and put it at the back of your book so that it flips that way and the window would be at the top. It doesn't matter which way around you do it. So if I put this in here and stick it on there, then that's what you're going to see through. If I turn it the other way, it'll be more green, won't it? I like both. I think I might use that green piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add glue on here, and then I'm going to struggle to get it inside there. Get my glue book. I do struggle once you've put glue on these papers. They obviously they stick, and they stick where you don't really want them to, don't they? I've been looking forward to doing a bug book for a long time, and when Andrea said she was doing a bug kit, well, it just had to be done, didn't it? I know it's not everybody's taste, but I think I've said before, if I'm going to make a journal, it has to be something that I like, that I'm interested in, you know, that I like the kit. Sorry folks, I'm trying to see what I'm doing. Trying to get that in there. It doesn't matter if it's not perfectly straight, because you're not going to see it, but I do want it to be stuck down nicely so it doesn't wrinkle, and I don't want to catch it as we're going to put a journal card in there. So that's just stuck on that back there, just so that you can see it through there. And I'll just snip that top bit off there. Okay, that's that bit done. There's my envelope has a self, do you call it a self-seal part on it? Silly me, let me just, oh, I've got no scissors. Oh, they're here. They are here. And I used that on the last one just as an extra little pocket. So I'm going to put something down there. So although you can see that bit of paper on there, you won't when I've finished. And I'll have to put just some scrap paper there, because that's the sticky label-y bit that would stick the label to. So that will fold like that, so that you've got a nice big pocket to put in there. I think that's what I did. I'm just going to check what I did last time. That's what I did last time, but I cut this little bit off because it gets in the way, and we haven't got it at the top, so we're going to cut it off at the bottom as well. And then that just makes a nice big pocket that's nice and easy to get a good journaling card in. And then that's the fold of the envelope as it was. So I want to cover this. I want to cover the back of it. And I might just use, oh, that's made that a square now. I wanted it to go slightly over the top to seal it, so I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to look for something else. Oh, that's a nice one, isn't it? And you can still write on there or put a card in. So yeah, I think I will stick that one on there. So I need it to be about 3 inches wide. Gosh, I've got bits of paper all over already. About 3 inches wide. It's up to you how you cover your envelopes, of course. So I'm going to put that on there. I'm not going to quite go to the edge, so that will still, it will still fit on there. And I'm going to cut a little bit off the top. And obviously I'm going to keep all my little bits, because you know we keep those, don't we? For future bits that we might need. Right, so I'm going to stick this on the back of the envelope. Sorry if I'm moving you when I do this. I'm being a little bit energetic, I think, with my glue today. Weather-wise today here in the UK, it's an absolute, you look outside and you think you should be dressed in shorts and t-shirt. It's absolutely glorious, the sunshine. But when you go outside, oh my word, that wind is cold. Really, really cold wind blowing. So that's going to go on there. And I was just hesitating then, because thinking whether I need to do anything else. And I really want to put something to cover this. So what I'm going to do is that's going to go over there so that it closes this envelope up. But before I actually do that, I just want to put a little bit of something on here, and I think I will put that yeah, I think I will put a piece of that on, just to cover this blue bit up. And I want to go a little way over So if I do that to about 2.5 inches, I knew Andrea's gel plate prints would come in perfectly for these, because it's like bug colours, isn't it? That's going to go in there like so. And I want it to cover, not all the way to the end of this, because it doesn't need to go all the way to the end. But it can do. It doesn't really matter, and you'll see what we're doing as we get on. Let me just stick this in. So I guess I know the envelope sizes in the UK are different to the ones in the US. So, oh gosh, my glue book's stuck already, look. So I'm not sure what size this envelope was. It must have been about an 8.5, because I took about 1/4 of an inch off, didn't I? So they must be about 8.5. So I'm just going to stick it on there. So I have covered all that flap, which is fine. That's okay. And just stick it on there. Okay, so that, apart from that bit on there, that's that bit decorated. Just looking to see what I've got. I've got these strips. I could put something like that on there, but I'm not going to worry about this bit at the moment. So I can now seal this envelope bit up, so that it's a complete envelope again. I'm just going to cut the corner over like that. Yeah, that'll be fine. I'll get rid of this page. Okay, so remembering, flatten that down. I don't want to bend that. I suppose it will bend, won't it? So that's the original flap of the envelope, just there. So I've just recreased that in, just whilst I look at the front. Now, my idea for the front was I wanted to put, I don't want to cover all this up, but I want to put something coming down here, because it is, after all, a bug book. So I think what I'm wanting to do is, let me find my tear ruler. I'm going to just tear the edge of this off, so it's a rough edge down there, just to see if I can do it. Oh yes, fraction off there. And then it wants to glue on. It wants to fit about, oh, it's about at that line there. So I'm going to tear round here, being careful not to tear that beautiful beetle. And then down there. And I want to put that on there like that. I love it. So I can still see that little bit there. It comes all the way down. So I just need to tear off a little bit at the bottom, carefully, and a snip at the top. Not so carefully. It is difficult when you just want to take that little bit off, isn't it? There we go. I think this is the hardest step when you're starting a new journal, is making the first item that's going to go in it. I am going to ink these because, as I said, I want this to be a grungy journal. So far I want it to be anyway. Oh, I must get a new sponge as well. I could take that further back, couldn't I? I didn't want to tear this little fly off of the bottom. Ooh, just missed him. I think I might put a label on there or something. I haven't looked at labels and things as of yet, but I think there might be something goes there. And at the end of the day, if you know, when you're using a kit, if it turns out horribly wrong and you end up not liking what you've made, well, you can print it again, can't you? Just ink the edges there. my sponge is molting everywhere. There's little bits of sponge going everywhere, and the trouble is it's got ink on, so you then get it on your paper if you're not careful. So that's going to go on there like that, and I might find a label. Do we need a label to go there? See, I might put something like that on there just to fill that in. Couple of labels might be nice. Oh, I like that. These are Tracy Fox's specimen labels. I think I need to print them again, but yeah, so I'm going to put a couple of labels. I'll leave those two on top because I'm thinking that I like those. So Tracy's kits and Andrea's kits, they do often work well together. And I know they've collaborated before and done joint kits between them, which were a dream to use. They were really fun. So obviously the first ones that you saw me make of these were the botanical theme. But I think it's always nice to see somebody do the same pocket but in a different theme, because we don't have to, sometimes it's hard to think what it would look like as something else, isn't it? So that's stuck on there nicely. I might put that one that way actually. I do like that. So he's going to go on there, most definitely. I'm enjoying this. I'm getting in the swing of doing bugs now. I haven't thought about covers, or I haven't got my signatures together or anything like that, but I'm thinking that I might like to just make some bits and pieces of ephemera. If I could get that straight. Is that straight? I know it's got writing all the way around it, but I wanted it that way. I like it. It's looking at that bug. That says printed matter, so I think that's going to go there. And these, I've just printed these on regular copy paper. That's what I usually, oops, throwing my glue. That's what I usually do. Oopsie. I'm going to put that there so you can see there's a little bit of the, I don't want to cover all of that up, do I? Printed matter. I like that. What do you all think? Do you like it? I'm sure you'll be quick to let me know. So that will open like so. That's going to be a pocket, so I will put a flap on there, and it'll get turned over to the other side. Wonder if we can do that now. We can. Let's use a piece of this. I want it to be a bit of a bigger flap. Because I want that to be a little bit of a tuck spot. Oh no, I've just cut the ladybird in half. Don't look at it, folks. Don't look at it. It'll be fine. I'm going to fold that like that. I'm going to first stick that bit there. Is it too big? Just fractionally, look. So I'm just going to snip a little bit off the top. Doesn't need to lose much. I'm going to put some glue on the back bit of that. I found it quite hard actually finding things with bugs on. If I put that there, is that, if it overhangs at the top slightly, I'm going to match it up with the bottom there, and then I'm going to fold it over. Gosh, oh golly. Fold it over there, like that. Make sure it's glued down. Doesn't want to glue there, does it? Oh, it's because you didn't put glue on it. Carol, what a silly bum you are. You only put glue on half, didn't you? You glued half a piece of paper. That's why it won't stick. That's better. Now it's sticking. But I don't want that to stick onto the back there. I've just got glue on it. So that will be there, and I will glue it top and bottom so that it is a little tuck spot just there. Let me just put some, lay that there while we talk about this bit. So this here is the bit that attaches. So you're going to see that. That's going to flip out, and this is the bit that's going to attach down that flips back on itself. So let me just get my scoreboard. I forgot I'd need to use that. Well, you don't need to. On the other ones that I did, I scored a mark at about 1/4 inch down there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it that way so that I can see where that's obviously that dark line there. I think you can see it is where the crease is. So I'm going to score it there, because that little bit is the bit then that we will attach to our page, and I'll show you in a minute what happens. Like that. So I've got two, I don't know if you can see, let's do it that way. Can you see I've got like a bit of a spine going on there, and it's just over 1/4 inch. You can do it as wider if you want. I wouldn't do it any less, because that is the bit that you attach to your book page, to your page in your journal. Okay, so I can see the lines in here. I've got one just there. I'm just going to add some ink to it, because on the one that I did in those journals, I actually glued it in and then I zigzagged down this little bit here. You don't have to stitch it. If you're confident that your glue is good enough, then, you know, by all means, just use the glue. You certainly don't have to stitch. So can you see there now I've got those two lines. On the back of it is where you're going to glue it down, and this is where you're going to attach your flap. Okay. So I'm thinking I might like this. It's going to be nice and bright and green, because I want it, I'm trying to think. It's difficult because I haven't got the other kit pages. So I either want it to be able to write on. You see, I think if I use this, which I like, I don't think you're going to be able to write on it. Actually, I think you probably could. And I think that's what I'm going to do. So shout at me if you think it's wrong. And I might make another one. You know, if I don't like it, I'll just make another one. But I think that's what I'm going to do. So the way that I did it is this bit here. Let's just remind ourselves. That is the bit that you're going to glue. Okay. So that's going to attach onto your page, so that's going to flip like that. It's going to open up, and then this is going to be your page that flips out, and that bit there is going to be glued down. So the way that I did it is I attached that piece on there. Okay, and I'm just thinking whether, yes, that's right. I remember what I did now. It all comes back to me very slowly. And I think that's why sometimes you need to make a spare one, don't you, and put in your ideas book. So I'm adding the glue, I hope you can see, down that bit and all on this bit, not on there. Don't go past that line because that's not where you want to put it. And then this that's going to stick on there, I'm going to just put a bead of glue on that edge. I think I actually stitched all the way around this page that I'm sticking on now on the other one. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to line it up at the bottom and I'm going to stick it on there. Now I don't know if you can see, I don't know if the camera will show you, but there's just a tiny gap, so I've not put it bang on that crease because I've still got those two creases, so I've left a little bit. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that over and I'm going to crease it in half and I'm going to glue these two together. Okay, try and get the glue, well, I try to get the glue as much on as I can so that they can be glued together nicely. If you don't want to glue together and you just want to glue around the edge, you know, whatever is your preference. And then I am going to glue that down. Okay. Okay, so let's have a look at what we've got. I'm really liking this. So we have got a tuck spot in there. So you'll look for something that's got an image that's going to show through that window. Okay, and if this was my book page, my kit page, let's try it on a book page. So for example, this is my book page. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this spine that we made, I'm going to glue down on that, glue, and then I am going to glue that onto my book page. Okay, just down that bit there. I think what I did in the other one is before I glued it down, I actually stitched all the way around there, and that's just because I've glued two pieces together. It's only thin copy paper this, but when you put them together it's quite sturdy. So I stitched all the way around the four sides. I can't do it on this because the glue's wet. And then I put the glue on there, matched that line, held it flat, matched that line up with the edge of the page, glue it on, and then when the glue was dry I zigzagged down that bit there, and then this bit becomes the fold. Now when you know how big your book page is, I folded that so that it fit nicely and became a flap there and a flap there. Okay, does that make sense? Let me just show you in this one. So that's what we've got at the moment. And so this there, can you see there the zigzagging down there? So that flaps that way. And I folded it because obviously it wouldn't fit in completely. So I folded it across. So this, if I put that on there, is the same size. So it's just going to be folded however I decide to fold it. And I put a tab on it. So it opens up and that flips. And then it's got a journaling card in there. And then that little pocket bit just there. I hope that makes sense to everybody. I hope, just put that over there. I hope you can see what I've done. I don't want to fold this until it's dry. You can see it's bending. That's because it's wet at the moment. And this is still damp, so I don't want to glue it, but I'll just put a bit of glue there and a bit of glue there. I might put some decoration on here yet, I don't know. Find a card in there. If you didn't want this to be a flap, then you could cut it off and just have that as a pocket that you can tuck something in. But I just liked the interactiveness of it, and I'm glad I've used this paper now because I think that just sets it off really nicely. So I'll probably fold it down here so it just flaps over. So what do we think? That's my first piece of ephemera for my beetle bug journal. So I hope it made sense. If it didn't, then please leave me a comment below and I'll try and do it again, or I'll explain which bit you didn't get. But that's the bit there that you're going to attach to your book page. I use 120 GSM for my book pages, so it's not thin copy paper because you are adding a bit of weight to it. You can put some washi tape down there that's going to be the fold if you think it's not going to take it. But if you remember, that's a piece of copy paper and it's the envelope flap as well. So it's got two pieces of paper there. So I think it's going to be fine. And if you wanted it to, you could have it as a flap tuck at the top. You don't have to have this flap here. You could have it closed that way. But this is the way that I've decided I like it. So I look forward to seeing your variations of this envelope flip flap. And I'll catch you later. Take care, folks. Bye.